What a very interesting week for the Montreal Canadiens that saw them finish the week with a 3-1 record with a victory over Calgary on Monday, a loss to the Maple Leafs on Wednesday, a victory over the Winnipeg Jets on Friday, and a victory over the Ottawa Senators on Saturday. Both those two last victories, the Canadiens were trailing by 2 goals, and it ultimately saw them pull out 2 gutsy victories, and now they sit within just 2 points of the Winnipeg Jets. Neither team has any games in hand, but the Jets do have a little bit of an easier schedule down the stretch here, but they're also in a bit of a tumble right now, so the Canadiens still do have the ability to catch this Winnipeg team and ultimately play the Edmonton Oilers in round 1 of the Stanley Cup playoffs. Let's start and talk about how Saturday's game finished. It finished with Caufield scoring his first goal in the National Hockey League, an overtime winner off of a gorgeous feed from Jeff Petrie, who read that play really well. He noticed that Brady Tkachuk of the Ottawa Senators had been on the ice for a very long time, read the play, took him to the outside, sent Caufield towards the net, and Caufield does what he does around the net, put the puck in the top of the net and score the game-winning goal for the Montreal Canadiens. You get the sense that this is not the only goal Caufield is going to score in his NHL career. This is a player that has hands around the net. He shoots whenever possible, and that's something this Montreal Canadiens team has been lacking for a very long time. Caufield brings a unique element to this team, and it's safe to say he's going to stick around. He has not looked out of place in his first 4 games. In fact, when he's on the ice, he's usually noticeable with this Montreal Canadiens team. I really like what Caufield has brought throughout the first 4 games of his NHL career. Now, I'm not trying to beat a horse when it's down, but if you look at how the Habs played without Shea Weber the last 2 games, you notice that they were a lot better in transition, a lot more mobile on the back end, specifically that top pair of Alexander Romanov and Ben Chiarot. Ben Chiarot, it's not a coincidence that he played his 2 best games of the season without Shea Weber in the lineup. He felt he could pinch more in the offensive zone, and he did a really good job down low for this Canadiens team. I really liked what Chiarot and Romanov brought to the table over the last 2 games, and I don't think it's a coincidence that Weber was out of the lineup during that stretch. Now, we know the Montreal Canadiens have a lot of injuries up front, but 2 players have stood out for me of late, and that's Jake Evans and Nick Suzuki. Jake Evans has been a big part of this Canadiens team ever since he was implemented back into the lineup. His speed and forechecking are just 2 things this Canadiens team need in the lineup on a daily basis. And if this Canadiens team is going to the playoffs, Evans needs to be a staple in this lineup because of what he brings to the table, along with Nick Suzuki, who went through a bit of a funk midway through this season, but he snapped out of it of late. He's been playing some of the best hockey of his Montreal Canadiens career, specifically on the power play. He's kind of patented that spot above the circle. He makes it so that the goalie can't see where he's shooting from, and the Habs have bodies in front, making it pretty much impossible for the goalie to see the puck. Suzuki has really come on as of late and been a big reason why the Canadiens picked up 3 of 4 victories this week. Now, the last thing I want to chat about in this video was an interesting question that I saw posted on Twitter about whether or not Tyler Toffoli was the best UFA signing over the last 30 years for the Montreal Canadiens, and I think you can definitely make that case. You look at what Toffoli's brought to the table this year, and it really doesn't seem unsustainable. I know he has a very high shooting percentage than what he's used to, but just the way he's scoring goals for this Canadiens team, it just doesn't really seem unsustainable. If he can put in 30 a year for the Montreal Canadiens over the duration of his contract, that's a very good contract for this Montreal Canadiens team. You look at some of the other ones that the Habs have dished out over the last 30 years. You can make the argument that Eric Cole was also a very good one that dealt with some injuries as well. But Eric Cole was a big part of this Montreal Canadiens team a while back. You can also talk about Alexander Radulov. That was a great unrestricted free agent signing, but he also left to go elsewhere, and that was kind of left a bitter taste in a lot of Canadiens fans' mouth. So I guess you could say that Tyler Toffoli is the best Montreal Canadiens UFA signing over the last 30 years. I'd be hard-pressed to find another example of someone that fits in as well as Toffoli does with this Canadiens team. That's it for me today from Cook's Corner. As always, comment your thoughts down in the comment section down below. What do you think the Canadiens are going to do over the next week where they take on the Maple Leafs 3 times and also have a date with the Ottawa Senators? I'm Zach Cook. We'll see you later.